My friends, there comes a time in every life when the clouds of disappointment begin to part, when the long nights of tears give way to the bright light of a new morning. That time, that moment, that season is now. This is your season of restoration. Everything the enemy stole, every dream that seemed to die, every opportunity that slipped through your hands is coming back. Not as it was, but greater, stronger, fuller than before. Restoration begins in belief. Everything in life, every healing, every new beginning, every breakthrough starts not in what we see, but in what we believe. Before anything changes in the physical world, something must shift in the unseen world of faith. The moment your belief changes, the atmosphere around you begins to move. You can have the greatest opportunities waiting for you, but if you don't believe restoration is possible, you'll never walk into them. Faith is the bridge between where you are and where you are meant to be. It is the spark that ignites restoration and the soil in which new beginnings grow. Many people desire restoration after a season of loss. They want to see relationships healed, finances restored, health renewed, or dreams revived. But often, they carry a quiet disbelief in their hearts, a whisper that says, "It's too late," or "Maybe for others, but not for me." That inner disbelief becomes a barrier, a wall that keeps restoration out. You cannot receive what you do not believe. Even the greatest promises remain dormant until faith awakens them. Belief is not blind hope. It is a confident assurance that what was broken can live again. It is the voice that says, "My story is not over," even when the evidence says otherwise. It is choosing to trust when you cannot trace. True belief doesn't deny reality. It transcends it. It looks at the storm and says, "Peace is coming." It looks at the ashes and declares, "Beauty will rise." It looks at what is gone and whispers, "It will return greater." This kind of belief is powerful because it changes your inner posture. When you believe restoration is possible, your heart begins to expect it. You wake up with renewed energy. You speak differently, walk differently, and act differently. You stop replaying what you lost and start preparing for what's coming. You move from mourning to movement. The moment belief enters, defeat begins to leave. Think about it this way. If you plant a seed but never believe it will grow, you'll stop watering it. You'll walk away, assuming the soil is dead. But if you truly believe that seed will one day push through the dirt, you'll keep tending it, even when nothing is visible. Faith works the same way. Belief keeps you consistent through silence. It gives you strength to keep sowing. Keep praying, keep hoping, because deep inside, you know restoration is already taking shape beneath the surface. Let's take a simple but powerful example. Imagine a woman who once ran a small business that collapsed after a financial crisis. Everything she worked for seemed lost. Her savings, her confidence, and even her sense of purpose. For months, she lived under the shadow of failure, convinced she would never recover. Then one day, she attended a gathering where someone spoke about the power of restoration through faith. Something inside her stirred. She began to say to herself every morning, "I will rise again. My business will live again." At first, nothing changed. But over time, her belief began to shift her actions. She started writing down new business ideas. She reached out to old clients, not to beg for work, but to reconnect with confidence. Her belief rekindled her creativity. Within a year, she started a new business, different from the first, but stronger. The same people who once doubted her now admired her resilience. And when asked what changed, she simply said, "I began to believe again." This story illustrates the heart of restoration. Nothing external changed at first, only her belief did. But that inner transformation became the foundation for her outer renewal. That's the mystery of restoration. It begins in the invisible realm of faith before it ever shows in the visible realm of results. Belief attracts possibility. When you choose to believe in restoration, your mind begins to recognize opportunities you would have ignored in discouragement. You start to see doors that were always there, but hidden behind despair. Your vision clears, your energy rises, and your heart aligns with what you hope for. Faith does not manufacture miracles, it releases them. Every great comeback begins with a decision to believe that it is not over. Belief fuels perseverance when others quit. It whispers, "Keep going." Even when progress seems slow, when you believe restoration is certain, you stop being controlled by circumstances. You stop saying, "I'll believe when I see it," and start declaring, "I'll see it because I believe it." So if you're in a season of loss, if you feel like too much time has passed or too much damage has been done, remember this truth. Your restoration doesn't depend on how broken things are, but on how strong your belief is. Even the deepest wounds can heal when touched by faith. Even the driest fields can bloom when watered by hope. The first step to restoration is not action, it's belief. Believe that what was lost can be found. Believe that what was taken can be returned. Believe that your best days are not behind you, but ahead of you. The moment you truly believe, the season of restoration begins. Not tomorrow, not someday, but now. Because restoration doesn't start when the world changes, it starts when you do. The power of inner renewal is the foundation upon which lasting restoration is built. Many people focus on getting back what they have lost: money, relationships, opportunities, or status. But true restoration begins inside the heart, long before it is seen outside. When life breaks you, when disappointment, betrayal, or failure strip away your confidence, the greatest loss is not what left your hands, but what left your spirit. You can rebuild a house, start a new business, or find new friends. But if your soul remains weary, bitter, or wounded, every new thing you touch will eventually crumble again. Restoration must begin within. Inner renewal is the quiet miracle that takes place when your heart begins to heal, when your thoughts are purified, and when peace replaces chaos inside you. It is the moment you stop letting the pain of your past define your future. So many people pray for outward blessings while their inner life remains exhausted and cluttered with resentment and fear. Yet the truth is, what happens inside always determines what happens outside. When you are renewed within, everything around you slowly begins to shift toward harmony. The greatest battles are not fought in public. They are fought in the unseen arena of the heart. When your inner world is burdened with anger, unforgiveness, or self-pity, even blessings will feel heavy. A person who carries bitterness cannot experience full joy, because bitterness poisons every moment. But when you allow inner renewal to take place, when you forgive those who wronged you and release the pain that has been holding you hostage, your heart becomes light again. You no longer wake up angry at the world. You no longer look at life through the lens of loss. Instead, you begin to see possibilities where you once saw problems. That shift in your inner vision is the beginning of true restoration. Inner renewal also means rediscovering your worth after failure. Sometimes life breaks you not because you are weak, but because you are being prepared for something greater. Failure often makes people doubt their identity. They start to think that they are their mistakes, but renewal is realizing that who you are is greater than what you've been through. You are not defined by what happened to you. You are defined by how you rise after it. When your heart begins to accept that truth, your confidence returns. You start to walk with quiet strength. You no longer look back wishing things had been different. You look forward, trusting that every wound carried a lesson meant to shape your growth. A good example of inner renewal can be seen in the life of a young man who once dreamed of becoming a professional athlete. From childhood, his heart was set on competing at the highest level. He trained day and night, sacrificing his time and comfort for that dream. But one day, a severe injury shattered his leg and ended his career hopes. The doctors said he might never play again. The young man fell into deep despair. His identity was built around his sport, and now without it, he felt empty. For months, he isolated himself, angry at life and jealous of others who still played. One evening, his former coach visited him. Instead of talking about the sport, the coach said, "You've spent years training your body, but now it's time to train your mind and spirit. The greatest victories are won inside." The young man took those words to heart. He began reading, meditating, and helping other injured athletes with their recovery. Slowly, his perspective changed. He found joy in encouraging others and discovered a new purpose in mentoring young players. Years later, he became a respected coach himself, known not just for his knowledge of the game, but for his ability to inspire people to rise after setbacks. His life was restored, not because his leg healed perfectly, but because his heart did. That story captures the essence of inner renewal. Nothing changed in the physical sense. His lost career didn't return. But something far more powerful happened inside. His heart was restored, his vision was renewed, and his life found a deeper meaning. Outward losses can never destroy someone who is inwardly whole. When you are renewed within, you attract new opportunities naturally. Peace becomes your magnet, and joy becomes your strength. You stop forcing life to move according to your plans and start flowing with divine timing. Inner renewal gives you the wisdom to see that what broke you was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to awaken you. Every disappointment becomes a teacher. Every closed door becomes protection. And every delay becomes preparation. That is why the process of inner renewal often begins in stillness. You cannot hear the gentle voice of healing while you are shouting over your pain. Renewal requires quiet moments where you allow truth to wash over your thoughts, forgiveness to cleanse your heart, and gratitude to lift your spirit. The world around you may not change immediately, but you will. And when you change, the world begins to respond differently to you. So if you are waiting for restoration, do not just ask for your situation to improve. Ask for your soul to be renewed. Ask for strength to forgive, courage to move forward, and peace to let go of what you cannot control. Because when your heart becomes whole, your life begins to rebuild itself from the inside out. True restoration is not the return of what was lost. It is the rebirth of who you are. When your spirit is renewed, you no longer live as a victim of your past, but as a vessel of purpose. You see every scar as proof that you survived, and every morning as a fresh beginning. And that, more than anything else, is the real power of inner renewal. The law of divine timing teaches us that everything in life happens at the right moment, not when we demand it, but when we are truly ready to receive it. Every dream, every desire, every promise carries its own appointed time. We often grow impatient, wondering why our prayers seem unanswered, why doors remain closed, or why opportunities take so long to appear. Yet what we call delay is often divine preparation. Timing is not about punishment or neglect, it is about alignment. When our hearts, our character, and our circumstances align with destiny, what once felt delayed suddenly unfolds with ease. The universe, or God's hand, operates on precision, not haste. We may feel forgotten, but in truth, we are being refined. Imagine planting a seed. You can water it, nurture it, and protect it from the sun. But no matter how much effort you put in, that seed will only sprout when its time comes. You cannot rush its growth. If you dig it up too soon, you destroy its potential. Similarly, every dream you carry has a season of dormancy. A time when nothing visible seems to be happening, yet beneath the surface, roots are growing strong. That unseen growth is critical because if what you are asking for arrives before you are mature enough to handle it, it can destroy you instead of blessing you. The law of divine timing is not meant to frustrate us, it is meant to protect us. Many times, people want restoration instantly after loss. They want the wound healed before it has been cleaned. They want promotion before discipline. They want recognition before humility. But divine timing ensures that what you receive will last. Quick blessings without growth lead to quick collapses. Real success, real restoration takes time. And that time is where strength is built, where patience is learned, and where faith is tested. There are seasons when everything seems silent, when prayers echo without answer. Those are not wasted seasons. They are divine classrooms. In those quiet moments, your character is shaped. You learn to depend less on circumstances and more on faith. You learn endurance, humility, and gratitude. These are qualities that cannot be developed in comfort, but only in waiting. When the right time arrives, all those lessons will carry you to the next level without breaking you. Consider the story of a man named Samuel. For years, Samuel worked hard at his job, dreaming of starting his own business. He had the skill, the passion, and even a little money saved. Yet every time he tried, something blocked his way. Either a deal failed, or investors backed out, or unexpected problems arose. After several disappointments, Samuel grew wary. He began to think perhaps his dream was unrealistic. One evening, while reflecting, he realized that though he was asking for success, he still lacked discipline with money. He was often careless in spending, and easily discouraged by small setbacks. Instead of rushing again, he decided to focus on growth. For the next 2 years, he learned financial management, strengthened his relationships, and developed consistency in small tasks. Then, almost suddenly, an opportunity appeared. A former colleague offered to partner with him in a project that perfectly matched his vision. This time, Samuel was ready. He handled challenges wisely, made strategic decisions, and within a year, his business began to flourish. Looking back, he understood that if the opportunity had come earlier, he would have lost it because he wasn't prepared. What he once saw as delay was actually divine timing. His waiting season was his preparation season. That is how divine timing works. It connects purpose with readiness. When you are prepared internally, life opens doors externally. When you are patient, you align with the rhythm of destiny rather than resisting it. Every delay carries a hidden design, and every pause holds a promise. There is a time to sow, a time to wait, and a time to reap. The waiting may feel painful, but when the right time comes, things that once felt impossible fall into place effortlessly. Often, the hardest part is trusting that time itself is not your enemy. When you see others moving ahead while you seem stuck, remember that every journey has its own clock. Comparing your pace to others only robs you of peace. Some flowers bloom in spring, others in summer, but all bloom in their appointed season. Your restoration, too, has a season. It might not come when you expect it, but when it does, it will make sense. The law of divine timing teaches us surrender. It teaches us to release control and trust the process. When you stop fighting time and start flowing with it, peace replaces anxiety. You no longer chase after things desperately because you know what is meant for you cannot be missed. The delay is never denial, it is divine design. Every minute of waiting is molding you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable of carrying the blessing that's on its way. So if you find yourself in a season of waiting, don't lose heart. Something is happening behind the scenes that you cannot yet see. You are being positioned, prepared, and purified for what's ahead. The right doors will open at the right time. And when they do, you'll look back and realize why it couldn't have happened sooner. Timing is not just about receiving. It's about becoming. And once you have become who you were meant to be, everything you've been waiting for will find its way to you effortlessly. Your restoration is not late, it's right on schedule. Every tear, every test, every delay is shaping your destiny. When divine timing meets divine purpose, miracles unfold naturally. The seed of your dream has not died. It's simply growing in silence. And when the moment comes, it will rise strong and beautiful, exactly when it's meant to. Words are powerful. They carry energy, shape emotions, and determine direction. What you say about your life, your future, and your circumstances creates an invisible current that either moves you toward victory or pulls you toward defeat. Speaking life into your future means choosing words that align with hope, faith, and possibility rather than fear, doubt, or despair. You may not realize it, but every word you speak is a seed planted in the soil of your destiny. Sooner or later, those seeds grow and bear fruit. If you constantly speak negatively about your life, you will keep living in the shadow of your own words. But if you begin to speak life, words of faith, strength, and purpose, you will begin to see restoration take root and flourish. So many people underestimate the power of their tongue. They say things like, "I'll never recover," "I'm too late," "I'm unlucky," or "nothing good ever happens for me." These statements may sound harmless in frustration, but they are dangerous because they create an atmosphere of limitation. Every time you speak words of defeat, you reinforce barriers around your future. It's like building a prison with your own voice. On the other hand, when you speak life, when you say, "I will rise again," "This is my season of growth," or "Something good is coming my way," you build a bridge to a better future. Your words begin to agree with the unseen possibilities waiting for you. Speaking life is not about denying reality. It's about declaring a greater truth. You may be in pain, but you can still say, "I am healing." You may be facing lack, but you can say, "I am stepping into abundance." You may be surrounded by darkness, but you can still say, "Light is breaking through." What you say in moments of struggle determines how long you stay there. Words have creative power. Just as a small flame can ignite a great fire, a single sentence of faith can transform the atmosphere of your life. The human mind listens to your words more than it listens to anyone else's. When you repeatedly speak hope, your mind begins to believe it. Your actions start aligning with your declarations. You begin to make decisions based on faith, not fear. And that is when restoration starts to manifest. Not because circumstances magically changed, but because your mindset did. Your words train your heart to expect what you speak. The more consistently you speak life, the more you attract the very energy you're declaring. Let's look at an example that beautifully illustrates this truth. There was once a man named Amir, who after years of working hard lost his job unexpectedly. He had a family to support and bills piling up. In the first few weeks, he became bitter and anxious. Every morning he would say, "Nothing ever works out for me. I'm cursed. I'll never find another job like that." The more he repeated those words, the heavier his spirit became. Opportunities came, but he couldn't see them clearly because his mind was clouded with hopelessness. One day, an old friend visited him and noticed how negative he sounded. The friend said, "Amir, your words are building walls around your blessings. You're locking yourself out of the very life you're praying for. Change your words and you'll change your world." Something struck Amir deeply that day. He decided to test it. The next morning, instead of saying, "I'll never make it," he began saying, "A new door is opening for me. Something better is coming." He didn't feel it at first, but he kept saying it daily, like medicine for his soul. Slowly, his mood shifted. His confidence returned. Within a month, he met someone who introduced him to a new company. The job he was offered not only paid more, but gave him greater peace and flexibility than before. Looking back, Amir said, "The change began the moment I changed my words." That story may sound simple, but it captures a profound truth. Our words create the environment for our future. What you continually declare becomes what you eventually experience. You cannot speak defeat and expect victory. You cannot speak lack and expect abundance. Life and death success and failure, faith and fear, all are shaped by the tongue. When you speak life, you activate spiritual laws that attract restoration. You begin to align your voice with divine intention. The universe, or what some call the hand of God, responds to faith-filled speech. Every declaration you make plants a seed in the future you're walking toward. Speak life over your relationships, your health, your career, and your dreams. Even when things look impossible, keep declaring possibility. Words spoken in faith have the power to outlive the circumstances in which they were said. Speaking life also means guarding your speech in everyday moments. It means refusing to complain, gossip, or spread negativity. It means replacing "I can't" with "I will," "It's too late" with "It's never too late," and "I'm finished" with "I'm just getting started." You don't need perfect conditions to speak life. You need a willing heart and a disciplined tongue. Over time, your consistent declarations of faith will build a reality filled with light, growth, and purpose. When you speak life, you give your spirit permission to dream again. You awaken the sleeping possibilities within you. Even if the road ahead is unclear, your words create direction. The more you speak life, the more confident you become in your destiny. You stop reacting to life and start creating it. So, choose your words with care. When you wake up in the morning, declare strength, favor, and joy over your day. When challenges arise, don't speak about how big they are. Speak about how big your comeback will be. When you feel weak, whisper, "I am strong." When you feel uncertain, affirm, "My steps are guided." Speak life when it's hardest to, because those are the moments your words carry the greatest power. Your mouth is a gate to your future. Guard it with faith. Fill it with hope. And watch as the life you speak becomes the life you live. Expecting more than before is one of the most powerful mindsets you can carry into a season of restoration. When life has broken something in you, when loss or disappointment has humbled you, it's natural to simply hope for things to return to the way they were. You might think, "If I could just get back what I lost, I'd be happy." But true restoration never takes you backward. It takes you beyond. What's ahead of you is always meant to surpass what's behind you. When your faith matures, you stop asking for the old and start believing for the better. Expecting more than before means trusting that your next chapter will be greater than your last, even if the last one was painful. It's believing that every fall prepared you for a higher rise, that every closed door was meant to lead you toward a greater one, and that nothing good ever truly ends. It transforms. Restoration from divine or universal perspective never comes as a mere replacement. It always comes multiplied. If you lost peace, expect overflowing joy. If you lost relationships, expect deeper and more meaningful connections. If you lost time, expect accelerated growth that makes up for what was missed. The key lies in your expectation. What you expect sets the limits for what you receive. If you expect only to survive, you'll survive, but you won't thrive. If you expect abundance, wisdom, and blessing, you open yourself to receive them. Expectation is the womb of manifestation. You cannot give birth to greatness while expecting mediocrity. After a season of pain, disappointment can make you cautious. You may start lowering your expectations to protect yourself from future hurt. You convince yourself that dreaming big only leads to disappointment. But that protective mindset, while understandable, also limits your restoration. The universe, or God, responds to faith, not fear. When you believe that greater things are possible, you signal your readiness for increase. The moment you lift your expectations, you align your heart with expansion. That's when life starts to unfold in surprising and abundant ways. It's important to understand that expecting more does not mean being greedy or impatient. It means being confident in divine goodness. It means recognizing that the one who allowed the loss is also powerful enough to bring something better in its place. You might have gone through dark valleys, but valleys are not permanent places. They are paths that lead you to higher ground. Expecting more is refusing to settle for average when you were created for excellence. It's choosing to see the pain of the past as preparation for the blessings ahead. Think of it like this: a farmer who loses his crop one season doesn't quit planting. He doesn't say, "Next year I'll sow less because I don't want to be disappointed again." No. He studies what went wrong, learns from it, and plants again with even greater care and expectation. Why? Because he knows that one bad season doesn't define his harvest. It refines his wisdom. In the same way, your setbacks have equipped you with lessons that make your future harvest richer. You know more, you see clearer, and you're stronger than before. You're not starting from the same point. You're starting from experience. A beautiful example of this truth can be seen in the life of a woman named Sarah. She was once a successful event planner with a thriving business, but during an economic downturn, she lost nearly everything. Her savings disappeared, her clients moved on, and she found herself starting over at 40. For months, she lived in discouragement, only hoping to get back to where she had been. One day, while taking a walk, she thought about how she had once limited herself to small local events. She realized that if she had to rebuild, she should rebuild bigger. That thought sparked something new. Instead of trying to restore her old business, she began to envision a new kind of company, one that hosted large international conferences. She started small again, but this time with a renewed vision. The journey wasn't easy, but she carried a mindset that said, "If I'm coming back stronger." Within 3 years, her company became more successful than her previous one ever was. She looked back and realized that if she had only aimed to get back what she lost, she would have missed out on what was possible. Her loss was not the end. It was the turning point. Her story teaches us that restoration is not about returning to normal. It's about rising to better than before. Expecting more than before requires courage, because it means letting go of your old definitions of success and comfort. It means trusting that even though you've been broken, you can still be built stronger. It means daring to dream again with the same fire you once had, but with deeper wisdom this time. You have to believe that your future will not just compensate for your pain, but will reward it. The lessons you've learned, the character you've built, and the patience you've developed are all signs that you are ready for more. This mindset transforms how you live daily. Instead of saying, I hope things go back to the way they were, you start saying, something greater is coming. You no longer chase old blessings. You prepare for new ones. You approach each day expecting opportunities, open doors and favor. That expectation changes your energy, your outlook, and even how people respond to you. Life mirrors your faith, and when your faith is expansive, your results are extraordinary. So don't settle for survival when you were designed for abundance. Don't pray to return to what was when something far greater is waiting ahead. Your restoration is not a replay. It's a rebirth. The next season of your life is meant to overflow with goodness, growth, and glory far beyond what you lost. Expect it. Believe it. Speak it. Because when you begin to expect more than before, you step into the limitless flow of divine restoration, where your past pain becomes the foundation for your future greatness. My beloved friends, this is your moment. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. You are standing in the dawn of restoration. Every dry season has an ending, and every broken heart has a healing.